A tragedy in the skies has sparked a profound movement of unity in the heart of Kenya, proving that the spirit of Ubuntu is unbreakable. While the news of the helicopter crash has brought deep sorrow, it has simultaneously exposed the incredible resilience of the Kenyan people and the power of faith to unite a nation. We are not just looking at a news report of a crash, we are witnessing the convergence of faith, community, and a nation's determination to stand together in the face of adversity. Today, we are diving deep into the aftermath of the tragic helicopter crash that claimed 7 lives. But more importantly, we are analyzing the response from the interfaith minister, whose message has resonated far beyond the borders of Kenya. We are exploring how this moment of mourning is becoming a masterclass in national unity. We will look at the history of aviation in East Africa, the role of interfaith leadership in African stability, and how Kenya is positioning itself as a cornerstone of the Africa Rising narrative. If you want to see the real story of African growth and the truth behind the headlines, you need to stay with me until the end. To understand the gravity of this moment, we must look at the context of aviation in East Africa. For decades, Kenya has served as a primary hub for regional connectivity. The aviation sector is not just about transport, it is the backbone of trade, tourism, and cross-border cooperation. When a tragedy occurs in this sector, it isn't just a local tragedy, it affects the movement of people and goods across the entire East African community. The recent crash, which claimed 7 lives, has prompted a rigorous look at safety protocols and infrastructure. However, what makes this story unique is how the Kenyan people responded. Instead of falling into division or chaos, the community turned toward their faith. In many parts of the world, news of such a tragedy can lead to fractured narratives. But in Kenya, the interfaith minister stepped forward to provide a unifying voice. This is a crucial point for our analysis of African leadership. By bringing together different religious perspectives to mourn and provide solace, the ministry is demonstrating a model of governance that prioritizes the common good over sectarian interest. This is a core pillar of the Pan-African movement, finding common ground to build a stronger, more unified society. Like this video help more Africans see this story. Now, let us look at the current situation and the specific dynamics at play. The interfaith minister's involvement isn't just a symbolic gesture. In the African context, religious and community leaders are the first responders of the soul. They are the ones who bridge the gap when the government's reach is limited. By mourning the 2 specific victims and standing in solidarity with their families, the minister is reinforcing the social fabric of the nation. We must also consider the global context. While some international outlets might focus solely on the mechanics of the crash, we see the bigger picture. While global debates over economic trends such as the comparison of growth between regions like Mexico versus South Africa or the rising competition of South Africa versus India often dominate the headlines in the West, the real story of the 21st century is happening here in Africa. We are seeing a continent that is no longer content with being a spectator. Kenya is moving toward a future where its infrastructure, its faith, and its people are unified in a singular vision of progress. This is the essence of Africa Rising. It is the ability to take a moment of profound loss and transform it into a moment of collective strength. The key players here include not just the government officials and the aviation authorities, but the religious leaders, the families of the victims, and the local communities. Each of these stakeholders plays a role in the narrative of resilience. The government provides the infrastructure and the policy, but the faith leaders provide the moral compass. When these 2 forces work in tandem, as we see in Kenya, it creates a stable environment for growth. This is a blueprint for other nations across the continent. Furthermore, we must recognize the impact on the aviation industry. Kenya is positioning itself as a leader in the region. Any tragedy in this sector is an opportunity for the industry to innovate, improve safety, and become more robust. The response to the crash is a test of that system. The fact that the community rallied around a message of unity rather than fear shows the maturity of the Kenyan people. They are not just reacting to a tragedy, they are responding with a vision for the future. This brings us to the broader Pan-African implications. Kenya is not an island, it is a gateway. When Kenya thrives, East Africa thrives. When Kenya's social fabric remains strong in the face of tragedy, it provides a blueprint for the entire continent. This is the Africa Rising narrative in action. We are seeing a move away from the old narratives of poverty and instability toward a narrative of resilience and leadership. While the West may look at the continent and see only the headlines of the day, we see the deep-rooted strength of a people who know who they are. We see a continent that is building its own infrastructure, forming its own alliances, and finding its own voice. Kenya's response to this tragedy, uniting under a common faith and a shared identity, is a testament to the strength of the African spirit. It is a message to the world that Africa is not just growing, it is evolving. What does this mean for the future of Africa? It means that the path forward is paved with unity. The Kenyan example shows that when we prioritize our shared values over our differences, we become unstoppable. The future of African aviation, infrastructure, and leadership depends on this brand of unity. Kenya is leading the charge, showing that a nation can be modern and technologically advanced while remaining deeply rooted in its cultural and spiritual heritage. This is the reality of a rising continent. We are moving toward a future where African nations are the primary drivers of their own destiny. Subscribe for honest, Pan-African analysis you won't find on CNN or BBC. We are here to tell the truth about our continent's rise and the power of our collective spirit. Check out this next video where we break down how East African infrastructure is revolutionizing regional trade. The story of Kenya is the story of a continent finding its power. What are your thoughts on the role of faith in African leadership? Let me know in the comments below. Let us start a conversation about the strength of our unity. Until next time, keep looking toward the rise of our continent.